Lieutenant Brian Cole had spent the better part of 2 decades protecting his city. As a decorated police lieutenant with the Highway Patrol Division, he knew trucks, how they worked, where they were allowed, and more importantly, how to enforce traffic and vehicle law properly. After years of dedicated service, Brian moved with his family into a quiet, semi-rural neighborhood called Oak Ridge Valley, just outside the city. With a couple of acres and a large gravel lot behind his home, Brian had also invested in a small logistics business, a pair of registered semi-trucks used for contracted freight delivery. His cousin and a friend drove for him, and when not in use, the trucks were parked neatly at the far end of his property, screened with trees and fences. Everything was legal. His land was zoned mixed-use residential, agricultural, and the trucks were licensed, insured, and idle during off hours. He kept operations quiet and professional, no diesel roaring at dawn, no parts laying around, no traffic backups. But then came the letter. Notice of violation, unauthorized vehicles on premises. Our records indicate that you are storing commercial semi-trucks on your property in direct violation of the Oak Ridge Valley HOA guidelines. These vehicles are not permitted and must be removed within 72 hours. Failure to comply will result in daily fines and possible legal action. Brian blinked at the letter. No phone call, no warning, just an ultimatum. At first he chuckled, then he reread the language. They weren't asking, they were threatening. He called the HOA office and asked to speak with the president, a man named Thomas Greeley. Greeley was cold and firm. You can't keep commercial vehicles here. It violates Section 4 of the HOA covenant. Vehicles over 10,000 pounds aren't allowed. Brian responded calmly, I respect the rules, but that section only applies to streets and shared community lots. These vehicles are on my private zoned property, behind a fence and not visible from the road. Greeley was dismissive. It doesn't matter what you think. Those trucks are illegal here. That's when Brian decided it was time for a lesson in both law and professionalism. He gathered every permit, zoning map, vehicle registration, and insurance document. Then he showed up at the next HOA board meeting, wearing his full police lieutenant uniform. Heads turned when he walked in. Evening, Brian said, placing a folder neatly on the table. You've claimed my trucks are illegal. I'm here to clarify a few things, not as a neighbor, but as a police officer who knows the letter of the law. He presented the paperwork and explained the zoning regulations in detail, citing exact ordinances from the county planning office. The room was silent. Then Brian added, I enforce vehicle laws for a living. I can assure you there's nothing illegal about what I'm doing, and I'd be happy to escort anyone here to City Hall if you'd like a second opinion. One of the board members, clearly uneasy, said, I think we may have overstepped. Thomas Greeley muttered something about needing to review things further. Within days, the HOA rescinded the violation notice. No fines were levied, and surprisingly, Greeley stepped down from his position 2 months later. Brian's trucks stayed exactly where they were. He continued running his business quietly with the support of neighbors who respected both his service and his unwillingness to be bullied by misused authority.